That's right.
Yeah. Hi guys, good afternoon. How are you doing? Hello.
Good
Yeah, good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
Are you guys okay?
Yep. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Sorry, I needed to get some stuff out. How is it going?
It's going great. Thank God.
Alvin, Slice,
Yep.
Good afternoon, sir.
yeah, good afternoon. Okay, I think so today's class will be taken by Chidima, one of our mentors. I think she has taken class before, so um basically we're just going to have a review, more like a walkthrough on how you can embark on a project as a UI UX designer. And then after that one, when she's done, I will present to you guys the project that we are doing in this cohort. The projects that we are doing in this cohort. There are about 5 projects here. Then you guys will now individually choose which one you would like to do. We are changing our model because we realize that most students delay because of when you put you guys on the group, this one delay, and end up not delivering the project at the end of the day. So this time around, we are not grouping you guys. You work on your project by yourself. So if you want to be certified, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine. So everything is about you this time around. So after she's done presenting, I will come back, but I'm still online. I'm still on the call. Okay, Chidinma, that's fine.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon.
Do you want to mute one of your mic? I think it's echoing.
Yeah, I just did.
All right, thank you.
So can you guys see my screen? Is it coming up?
Yeah, it's up.
Yes.
It's coming up.
So now, we're going to be working with a real life project that I worked on. So that way it's something that can resonate with you guys and you guys will have a proper understanding. So, this is a food tech product that I worked on. So, okay. So, this project was about EPALA was about bridging the gap between food items, stores, and households. Obviously, the client is going to state that, okay, this is what I'm planning, or this is what I want to achieve with this product that is in hand. So, after some clients might not even give you like a PRD or an SRS documents to work with. They just tell you that, oh, Tolani, this is what I want you to do. This is the vision that I have for my products. This is what I think the team should look like. So now, as a UX UI designer, on getting such information, the first thing that you'd be more concerned with is to understand the users, because without the users, there is no product. So without understanding now, with the information, let's just work with minimal information. Let's think of the worst case scenario. So now what you're going to do now is to understand the users. So the process of understanding the users, you can now define what the product is going to be like, what it's going to feel like, and also the functionalities of those products. So now EPALA now is a food tech app with the idea that they would want to bridge the gap between food items, stores, and households. So the theme is that the idea is that, you know how you go to the market and then the food prices is constantly fluctuating. Or let's just say I'm new to this area now and I don't know the nearest store I could get certain food items. So these are the things that EPALA is trying to fix. So now, by addressing common challenges like food wastage, inefficient budgeting, and accessibility. So now, as a UX person, I have already streamlined all of those functionalities that the clients want into having to address the challenges like food wastage, inefficient budgeting, and accessibility. So that's about the brand EPALA. So now, after you've fully understood the projects that you are working on, it's important to create a problem statement. So the problem statement now is let's work with households are facing challenges in managing their grocery shopping inefficiently, which leads to overspending, difficulty in locating reliable food stores, and all of those texts that you've seen there. So now, I know you guys will be asking me what's a problem statement. So in user experience design bar, a problem statement is like you're trying to give a clear and concise description of the issue or challenge that a user is currently facing, which is what the design is trying to solve. So it's going to help you guide the entire design process by focusing on the user pain points, their needs, and their goals. So why is problem statements like very important? So the thing is, it aligns with the team around and also gives you a shared understanding of the user's issue. So secondly, it helps you define the success criteria for the solution you're trying to provide, and also helps you with giving a structure to how your research is going to pan out, and also helps with the ideation phase. So that's that about problem statements. So now we've clearly given what the problem statement of EPALA is. Challenges that households are facing, store owners are also facing. So that is what our problem statement is going to be. So these issues that we've carefully outlined, lead to inefficiencies in food supply chain, impacting time management and financial planning. So now, what is the goal? The goal is to ensure that we offer real-time food price updates, plan and manage grocery lists with ease, and optimize budgets using recommendations. So that is what we're trying to achieve now with this, with the product Ipala. So now, who is our target audience? It's very important to know who the product is for, because not understanding who the product is for is going to make you, as a designer, you might make like really terrible choices in terms of things you're supposed to factor in, like the colors, the type fonts, what the experience and the flow is supposed to be like, how easy it's supposed to be. Do you get? If you're working with elderly persons now, we don't want to stress them. So we try to make sure that we give them prompts, all those things that is going to make them have a better understanding of how they're going to go about the entire product. So that's that about you understanding who your target audience is. So now for Ipala now, the target audience is household individuals and food store owners. So that's that we already understand who this is for and the things that we need to put into consideration in terms of coming up with features that are going to be within the app. So that's with target audience. So now the next phase as a UX researcher for this product is the ability to empathize, conceptualize, and design. So now, what does it mean to empathize with users? So the ability to empathize with users simply means that, how do I put it? Means to have like a deep understanding, like the emotions, the thoughts, the needs, and the challenges that these people will use, who are going to use your product. You need to understand them on a much more deeper level. So it's the first stage in design thinking process, and it helps you design solutions that are truly user-centered, very user-centric. And it's not just about what you think is best for the users. You need to be able to know what they actually need, because it's not about you, it's always going to be about the users. So empathy is very important in UX, because you get to understand, you get to uncover like the real pain points that users are facing. And also you don't get to make assumptions, and also leads to a more inclusive and accessible design. So now the thing is, how do we empathize with users? Okay, there are like two major ones that I work with, but there are also, okay, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. So how to empathize with users is you need to conduct user interviews, maybe through surveys and questionnaires, maybe creating empathy. Okay, you need to create empathy maps, user personas, and you having to observe in a general sense. So by user interviews now, how does it work? You ask like open-ended questions to understand their behaviors, their goals, their frustrations, and also what motivates them. So the surveys and questionnaires, I'm pretty sure we know how that works. It's more of a quantitative or a quantitative or quantitative or qualitative collection of data, so that you get to gather the user needs, their habits, what they are looking to achieve, their goals, all of those things. You get to gather all that information through the questionnaires and the surveys that you have made. And empathy maps, you having to come up with visual tools that will help you know what the users say, think, feel, or do, and also personas, where you create realistic profiles based on research to keep the user at the center of your what they call this thing, your design decisions. So what is conceptualization? So the thing is, there is okay, sorry, I'm skipping a bit. So conceptualization in UX is simply I'm looking for like a simple term to work with. Is the process of like generating ideas and shaping the overall vision for a digital product based on the information you have gathered during the empathy phase, because you already have a deeper understanding of what the user needs, and also you already have a deeper information on what the user needs, and also is going to help you bridge between the understanding of the problem, like empathy, research, problem statements, and you in the process of doing that, you can now build like a tangible solution. By tangible solutions is where you get to create wireframes, the high fidelity prototypes, and all of those things. That is what conceptualization means. So you basically, in conceptualization, you move from what the user needs to how you can actually solve the problem. So now, the key thing when it comes to conceptualization is brainstorming. So you get to brainstorm with the team members. Okay, I think this should be like this. I think we should implement this feature. I think we should do this. We should add this. We should add that. So that is like the ideation session, because you're trying to put all of those things, those information you've gathered during the empathy phase you're trying to mold and shape it so you can be able to define what the product is going to be like. So now from there, you can now start with the user flows, like, okay, this is how you want the users to be able to navigate through the app, to be able to carry out certain actions. So it's like a step-by-step path that users take to achieve a goal with your product. That's the summary of it. And then we have the information architecture. So it's like the skeletal structure of the product you're working on. So it's how you're going to organize content and features to make the entire process or navigation very as intuitive as possible, because that's what matters at the end of the day. And then then after you've done all of that, you've already defined how the users are going to walk through your app. You can now start with bringing all of those ideas, all of those flows, all of those research, and bringing them into reality. But you're going to start with low fidelity wireframes. And in the low fidelity wireframes, you could do it maybe just by sketching, or you could use your tab. What you could use Figma to do all that, and just come up with something. So you'd be like, oh, I want the CTE button to be here. I want this icon to be here. I want the frames, the text, and images to be there. So that is the low fidelity wireframes before you now proceed to creating the high fidelity wireframes. So now, once you've done all of that, so now that's the low fidelity aspect of it. So now you're already like, okay, this is how you think the product is going to be like. So now what are those things that is going to make the product what it is? So that is where design concept comes in. So it's more like you're trying to understand the design direction of that particular product. We talked about it in the last class, having to choose color palettes, typography, layout styles, all of those things are going to serve as a brand guideline for the products that you're working on. Then once you've done all that, you can now go ahead to creating the high fidelity prototype. Then we have the big guy. So we have the big guy now, which is the end of the entire thing, which is the final stage where you bring all of those ideas, all of those concepts, and then you now translate it into a very beautiful, a visually appealing and interactive solution. So where you actually get to solve the user problem. So it's the big boss. So this is where you start building what the user will actually see, what they would touch and also interact with. So what I would really appreciate that you guys understand is it is more than just design isn't just about making something look pretty, look nice. It's about ensuring that these things, this product you're coming up with, your design, your building works well, feels very intuitive, and also you're supporting the user goals. That's why there was the need to conduct a user research so you can better understand the persons that this product is for. So as much as design is supposed to be aesthetically pleasing, because if we go through a website now that is by like is so not appealing, let me use the word ugly, you'll be like, nah, I can't do this. You log out. That's the end. But if you have a design that is visually appealing, the UX is awesome, I mean, as a user, you get to feel something, and process of feeling something, you want to understand what that product is about. So now for the design aspect of it, this is where we're talking about low fidelity wireframes. And once you're done with all that, you need to make sure you have a design concept. Then from there, you can start building, which is the high fidelity prototypes. So we have the where the high fidelity screen is going to consist of colors, fonts, icons, imagery, and all of those things that make up a design. So there's also another aspect of design which I don't think we should dive into. I'll just give you like a surface of what it is like, or the things you might see moving forward in your design journey. So the interaction design. So there is an aspect of Figma where you could add really awesome transitions, awesome animations. We have the hover effects and all of those all those little micro interactions just to give your product life. And yeah, that's that. And then we talked about design systems and components during the last class, so no need to dive into it as much. Then yeah, that's that about those big guys that you're seeing on the screen: empathy, conceptualization, and then we have design. So now once you have all of these things, but you can now start building on a product. So this is a real life situation. This is how you're supposed to address any problem you're being given by a client or whatever, or by a client. So once you've done all that, then you can now proceed to like coming up with something really good. So one thing you should keep in mind when a client approaches you with a design is what should be at the forefront of your mind should be that you need to ensure that this product is something that users are able to resonate with. Not only that, ensure that it's functional, as intuitive as possible, because as a designer, you get to imagine, you see, in fact, all users are lazy. So having that at the back of your mind, you get to ensure that every flow is as seamless as possible. And also, as a designer, you need to ensure that there is consistency and also inclusivity. So that's that about what you're currently seeing on the screen and how you're supposed to address a real life project. So now, these products now, Ipala, how was I able to empathize? The need to understand what the customer wants, their needs and their expectations. So the thing is, Ipala doesn't just want to address functional requirements. It wants to be able to feel, to have access to users on an emotional and a practical level. So it's something that they can resonate with, not just, Ipala is a product that can solve your problem, but they should be able to feel something. And that was the core value, the core goal for Ipala. And then what's the research methodology? So this is how I collected data. I carried out surveys, I did interviews, and I also had a focus group to work with. So now we have 25 individuals and 100 survey feedback received. So now, okay, now let me explain each of these ones. So I think your major question is going to be, what are focus groups? So now focus groups are, how do I put it? It's more like it's a qualitative user research method where there's like a small group of target users, people that you're primarily just focusing on. Let's just say you're going to work with like 5 to 10 persons. Then you bring them together and you guys just they get to discuss about their experiences, their needs, their attitudes. So it's more like you're seeing a real life reaction of those users. Like you get to see from how do I explain? You get to see what their expectations, what their motivations are, and all of their pain points as well. So the major reason why focus groups are usually used in UX research is sometimes it's used to test the early ideas and the prototypes or design concepts. So that's one of the reasons why focus groups are used. I mean, surveys are self-explanatory, and interviews, obviously we all know it's like a one-on-one session with, what do you call it, with users. So now the constraints. So after I've done all that, now obviously there are things that kind of limited the entire process for me as a UX researcher at that point. So which is the sample size, we have sensitivity around finance, then access to participants. So now I remember talking about inclusivity. So the idea is to be able to reach to as many persons as possible. So now the sample size, like I said, just 25 persons participated. So that's a constraint on its own. Then sensitivity around finance. Some persons don't want to talk about things regarding overspending or their financial struggles, kind of made them unwilling to like share further insights when it comes to food budgeting and all of those things. Grocery shopping, sorry, and all of those things. And access to participants. So yeah. So this is a list of the interview questions I asked the users. So this is it. So the thing is, when you're asking questions, you don't ask the question in such a way that you're trying to derive a specific answer from the user. So it's always there at the forefront, like, oh, can you walk me through your typical grocery shopping process? So you're leaving the floor open for the user to come up with whatever, however it is that they go about it. So what are the difficulties that you face? And how do changes in food prices affect your shopping habits? Things like that. Those were the questions that were being asked. So now this is this is for the survey questions. So this is the responses that were gotten from the persons that participated. So this is the format. So 5 persons were extremely frustrated. So the question is, how significant do fluctuations in food prices impact your ability to plan and stick to a budget? So 5 persons were extremely frustrated. 10 persons were very frustrated, 7 persons. So this is how you get to record the information. And that's all that's that. So now with all the research, all the qualitative and quantitative data that we have collected, so what are the key things that I did identify as a problem? So 4 things I outlined here: location and visibility. We have stock outs, we have price fluctuation, we have platform adoption. So location and visibility. 40% of respondents have difficulty finding reliable food stores, supporting the need for store visibility features. So I'm stating what the problem is and also trying to provide a solution to what can address that problem. So now, that means there is a feature that needs to be incorporated to solve that major problem that I just said. So stock out, 36% report frequent stockouts, reinforcing the need for real-time inventory tracking. So what do I mean by stock outs? Let's say I go to a store and I want to buy pasta, or I want to buy cheese. I want to buy maybe a particular type of cheese. Maybe I'm looking for margarita. They don't have it. And I didn't know that. I did start my car, or I did book a ride, went there, and they don't have it. Yes, that's a problem. That's frustrating in itself. So we have the price fluctuation. 50% of users overspend due to price fluctuations, highlighting the importance of real life price updates. Price fluctuation is a thing. Imagine I'm going to the market to buy like half basket of tomatoes, and when I went to the market like 2 weeks ago, they told me half basket of tomatoes like 3,000, and I'm going back to the store, and they're telling me that it's now 4,500. That's another form of frustration. Or I go to the store, I try to get maybe one of my favorite drink, and they tell me, oh, it has hiked, the price has gone up. So we have platform adoption. So high demand exists for a platform offering price updates, store locators with 72% of respondents likely to use such a service. So that's that. So that means people are willing to actually use an app that would help solve these problems that have been highlighted. So that means we're a step in where we're actually we're on track. So because what's the point of coming up with a product that most persons don't see the need for? So what are the focus areas? The focus areas are improving store accessibility, reducing food wastage, and real-time price and stock updates, which is what I said, what I talked about earlier. So no need to dive deeper into that. So we already know what conceptualization is. So now that we already have the key pain points and it has been identified, so now the focus area for eParlour can be properly defined. So now we've classified all the insights gathered. Now we're going to create mind maps, affinity maps, build user stories, and we also get to know what the jobs to be done will be. And also we're going to, from there, we get to present our findings to the stakeholders in case they do have, maybe there are some things that need to be modified. So that's that. So we're going to go through it now. So now for the mind map. So what is the gap that was identified? Food wastage, store accessibility, lack of real-time information, and price fluctuation. So how can we bridge a gap? Simple. We're going to provide a smarter grocery listing. And then eParlour would offer store locators with price comparisons and stock availability to enhance the store accessibility as well. So the third one is eParlour can provide real-time price, stock updates, offering an up-to-date overview of local stores. So that is how we plan to solve that problem. So the affinity map. Okay, so now before I go for that, what is mind map? Sorry, I totally forgot you guys. So what is mind map? So mind map is simply a visual brainstorming tool used to explore and organize ideas around like a central concept. So the idea is to understand the problem and organize user needs into features. So the user needs and the features is what I just clearly outlined here. So it's a process of you trying to like, how do I explain now? You're trying to plan and also structure the information architecture that you're going to design or come up with moving forward in the entire UX process. And you also get to explore what the user journeys and the task flows is going to be like. So that's that about mind mapping. So how does, let's say the thing is that you don't necessarily need to use a tool to do the mind mapping thing. You could do it on paper or a whiteboard, or you could just make use of like there is this tool that you can use for I'm trying to remember what the name is, but I think on Figma, yes, you can do mind mapping with FigJam. If I'm going to confirm that, I'm not really sure, but I think with FigJam you can do mind mapping. With Miro you can do all that as well.
You can use FigJam.
Sorry?
You can use FigJam.
Okay. So yeah, with FigJam you can carry that out. So the next one I showed on the screen is we're trying to understand what an affinity map is. So what the affinity map is, it's like it helps you like organize large amounts of information, large amounts of data. Like now prior to that, but I showed you a screen of the survey and the questionnaires that are used for the eParlour product. So now all of that observation, all of those data, this is where affinity mapping comes into play. So it's more like you are trying to make sense of all the information that you have gotten. You're trying to make sense of the entire thing. So you're trying to spot patterns. you're trying to properly, you've already defined user needs, but now with Affinity Map, you're trying to properly define user needs, their frustrations, and their goals. So this is why Affinity Map is needed. So all of the raw data that you've gotten, you're trying to properly define it. So now so like I said, defining it properly. What we have here is grocery listing properly streamlined, store locators with real-time updates, need for live price, inventory tracking, preference for mobile-friendly solutions, streamlined all of that. So now what are the jobs to be done? This is just extra unnecessary facades. Let's just skip this. It's not necessary. So now, after all that has been done, we have the user persona. So now, what is a user persona? I think I talked about it earlier, what user personas are. So user personas are usually created when it's more like you're trying to create a fictional character based off of the real characters that you already have an understanding of. So you're creating that fictional character so that you can properly understand. You can be like, okay, okay, as a team, you're trying to like understand these users. So you're trying to imagine that, okay, this is most likely what the users will be expecting. It's like you're trying to empathize with them on your own level. Like you're trying to understand, you're trying to empathize with them so that you can properly understand what their needs are. So let's just say they're fictional characters. So it's like it's a shortcut. Let me use the word. It's a shortcut to a user's mindset. That is what a user persona is. So user personas, you can also what we're currently seeing on the screen, you get to understand their needs, their goals, their frustrations, and also create, obviously, like I said, fictional characters, like imaginary background. So let's say this is Osa Stolani. She's age 34, an accountant, and in a busy place like Lagos, Nigeria. So what is her go-to quote? Her quote is, grocery shopping shouldn't feel like a guessing game. I just want to make smart decisions without wasting time or money. So what's her background? Osas is a working mother of 2 who struggles to manage her family's grocery budget. So this is, she often deals with food wastage because of overbuying and price fluctuations. Then she does outline her frustrations here, difficulty finding fresh food items quickly. We have the goals here. She wants to be able to stick to the household grocery budget, plan meals better, and save time by finding the best deals. Then what are her needs? Her needs are pretty simple, something mobile friendly. I mean, a place like Lagos, nobody would want to use their system to be able to do this thing. Something that, I'll just dip my hands in my pocket and access the app. Then real-time updates on food prices and stock. So these are the user stories here. So you're most likely wondering what is different between user persona and user stories. So how do I explain it now? We already know that user persona is a fictional character that you're making up. So for user stories now, user stories is how do I explain it? It's just a short description of a particular feature from like user's point of view. So that is what user stories are. And the purpose of doing this is because you want to know what the user wants to do and why they want to do it. See, this whole okay, let me just go for that. So so that you get to design a product. Let me just work with a feature that clearly defines the user's value. That's the whole point of this whole thing. Like I said, users are a major priority. So user persona and user story, what's the difference? Because they seem like the same thing to me. So user personas help you understand who it is that you're designing for, hence the need to create a fictional character. Then we have the user story. It's more like you're trying to help you define what they need to do. So the user persona, like also like it's like you're trying to wait. What was on the screen, the previous screen? Let me go back to the previous screen now. So just hold on. Why is it not going back? Okay, so now with the user persona, guys, you're all seeing there now. You can see that where we give them an imaginary life, also stating their pain points and what their goals will be. So now for user story, what you're doing is you're trying to break the product features, those features, into very, very little sizes, very small, very minute sizes, so that you're breaking them so that they can be something that you can translate properly into a flow. And so that's I think that's what I can think of right now, the difference between user personas and user stories. So now the user story for this is, as a busy household shopper, I want to easily access real-time prices and stock availability of food items from nearby stores so that I can save time, reduce costs, and avoid unnecessary trips. So you can tell that this person's priority now is time, money, and of unnecessary back and forth, having to go from shop A to shop B. So that is this person's challenge. So now, as a family cook, I want to create a grocery list based on planned meals for the week so that I can avoid overbuying and food spoilage, hence the need for the smart grocery listing. So now his challenge, what the problem he wants Ipala to solve is he wants to stop overbuying. And also because he overbuys, because he cannot predict the market fluctuations and all that leads to food spoilage. And then the next one there. So now the sessions, the brainstorming sessions, this is where the entire team comes together to be able to define what the features, what the flow, how the entire product is going to be like. So this is what the brainstorming sessions are. Then you provide solutions as well. So the solutions that I and the team came up with is to develop a feature that allows users to create personalized grocery lists, implement a system that integrates with stores to provide live updates on food prices and inventory, introduce a feature that provides a seamless user interface for browsing, filtering, and purchasing food items. So these are the solutions that we're going to prefer as a brand, as a product, as Ipala. So now we presented the findings to our client. So in this context, we're using stakeholders, but between you and I is a client. So the design built a style guide as a priority. And if I can recall vividly, one of the things that the client mentioned as something that we should prioritize is the need to okay, I think I really can't remember what the feedback was, but when I did get back to the client, there were certain things he said should be done. And we looked into it as a team. So now this is the brand colors that I'm working with, the state colors and the dark colors that I worked with for the team, for the product. This is the typography that was used and the buttons. So this is all the design concepts, the brand guidelines. And I told you I told you guys the last meeting, the last class we had, I told you why sometimes we make use of style guide and design systems. Design systems are used for big projects, while style guides is just to ensure that everything about the product, the brand identity of the product is still within range for the sake of consistency. So now, why did I make use of reddish orange? Obviously, as a designer, you need to state reasons as to why I'm using this color. Why am I using this text? So initially during the beginning of this class, Ipala was not just concerned about the functionality, but the need to be able to connect with these users on an emotional level. So the idea is having to choose reddish orange is it reflects energy, it reflects warmth, accessibility, and all the things that you can currently see on the screen. So what we have here to our right-hand side, we have the splash screen, which is always going to be a constant. And then we have the onboarding screen here. The design type. So as a designer, what my primary focus was is to ensure it is clean, user-focused, and a mobile-friendly approach to it. to ensure accessibility to all users. So I ensured that it was simple, intuitive, and has a well-structured layout. That was my priority. So this design concept helped foster like a seamless experience, empower users to make informed, confident decisions in their grocery planning. So now this is what the flow is like for grocery listing. So the user gets to do this from step A to step B, step C, to get to the final stage where they exit that particular action they want to carry out. So that's that for user flows. And I have like my really pretty sketches here and the low fidelity wireframes. I for this presentation, I'm working strictly with the homepage, stores, and grocery listing. So this wireframe, I'm clearly stating why certain things are there. So now for this wireframe here, I highlighted the location selector, which is very important based on the research that has been carried out. We have the notification icon, we have the promotional banner. So now the location selector, obviously, is for users to be able to find stores based on where they are at, based on their location. It's like you're trying to personalize the entire process for the users. Then we have the notification icon to get real life or real time price drops or new offers, whatever it is. That's what the notification icon is there for. And also promotional banner. So this is a large visual placeholder designed for featured stores, discounts, operation. Okay, I think this was one of the feedback that the stakeholders did point out that has to be implemented within the products that we're coming up with. So store accessibility, they need to highlight nearby stores with small cards, including their names, their locations, which will encourage users to explore local options within their convenience. And we have the following section: display stores users are following to interact with regularly. Enhancing, which is going to enhance personalization. So this is that for, this is the listing. This is for the stores, what the stores is going to look like within the app, their information, their details, the products that they sell, the pricing and all that. This is what it's going to look like. This is the idea behind it. Then this is the listing feature, the smart grocery listing. Allows users to select a store from a list, category section, dynamic updates. So these are the things that I did prioritize as well after I've already done my sketch. So this is what the homepage looks like. And this is the high fidelity prototype. So this is what it looks like. This is what the store page looks like. This is what the listing page looks like. So now there was the need to it's more like you're trying to check if all of those processes that you've carried out is actually worth it. So there is the need to actually test and see if this is a product that users can actually use and solve their real life problems. So now the objective is to ensure this particular testing that was carried out is to ensure that is to evaluate the satisfaction of the grocery listing feature on the eParlour app. So the participants were 20 from the target audience, and then the task is for them to be able to select a store, filter products by category, adjust items and add quantity to the list, view the grocery list, and confirm the total cost. So now for the listing, this is what the listing page looks like. So we want users to be able to navigate through and see if they can actually carry out like the listing action. So now the first question is, during the testing phase, how easy was it to find and select a store near your location? So this is one of the person's response. It was very easy. The stores were displayed prominently on the homepage under stores near you, and I could quickly select one. So it was somewhat easy. Another person's reply, but I had to scroll to find the store. A search filter would make it much faster. So the purpose of carrying out this testing is so you can see the good side of the products you've come up with and also the bad side. But as a designer, I'm more focused on the bad side because I want to ensure that these users have the best 100. So I'm not just going to focus on, oh, at least I did this right. That's not my concern. My major concern is what can I actually do right? So that's the point of the testing. So this person is like, oh, a search filter is needed. I would have to incorporate that. I need to update that in the design. I wouldn't just go ahead to update it, but then I'll have to inform my team because I'm not the only one. Inform my team, and then we think of ways that we could actually sort it out. So this other person said, I had no struggles sorting out the store names. This one, were you able to add items to your grocery list without difficulty? Yes, the process was straightforward. The plus and the minus buttons made it intuitive to adjust quantities. So that's the plus and minus ensures flexibility, like, oh, you're actually in control. Do as you please within the app. So the second one is I managed to add items, but I accidentally added extras and didn't find a way to remove them. So an oversight, maybe there's obviously the need to be able to delete or remove items that you no longer need or that you mistakenly added, like this user mentioned. So now I found it confusing. The add to list button wasn't noticeable enough. So that means there's need for more visibility within the app. And then question 3, was the categorization of products helpful for finding items quickly? Yes, categories like pasta and meat made it easy to find what I was looking for. This person said it was okay as I was able to find items. So there was no issue with the categorization feature. And so that's basically it. So now the tax success rate. So now there's a need to collate all of that information, and so that you can factor all of those responses and come up with like a better solve those problems that they have mentioned earlier during the testing. So now viewing of grocery list, adding items to the list, 100% person says it was okay. Adding items to the list, 95%, adjusting quantities, all of those, that's the tax success rate. Participants, 20, success rate, 90%. Found the interface intuitive, user satisfaction. These results showed grocery listing feature is user-friendly and well-received. So the feedback and insights. So users appreciated the clean and intuitive design, and areas for improvement. Users also requested features like saved list. So that was what the feedback was, and this is what the screens of the product eParlour looks like. These are the product screens. We have the homepage, we have the stores near you, we have the notification where you get to see real-time price updates. If there's a new store near you, if maybe a price has been updated, all that is displayed there. So what are the key things that I did learn from these products that I did build, this eParlour products that I worked on? One thing I would say stood out for me in this entire process was the fact that simplicity is key. And I'm also of the opinion that simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So users favored a simple and intuitive interface that allowed them to navigate through the app without confusion. So accessibility and enhancement are necessary. A search function with filters can greatly enhance usability for users managing large grocery lists. User satisfaction ties to practical features. These are the key learnings for me. And that's pretty much everything about the eParlour product. So when a client approaches you with an idea and all that, don't be excited that I'm going to collect the money. The money is there, sure, it's there. But then you also need to factor all of these things step by step, because your priority is one thing you should keep in mind is your reputation really matters in this field, so that you can always get a recommendation. That one is one. And two, the second one is ensuring that you're building a product that the users can resonate with. It's never about you. So when you get a bad feedback, it's never about you. It's about the users, then the product. So that's the what your second priority would be. Then the third one is you having to find ways to actually solve this problem. How you can create a product that users would be able to resonate with and you'd also be proud of. So that's about working on real life projects. So that's pretty much everything. And I think Mr. Our boss, our Oga at the top, will want to take over from here. Thank you, guys. And if there's any questions, please do well, let me know.
Yeah, I think they should ask their questions first.
So do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any question from my side. You explained in details.
Okay, that's good. Anybody else? What about Orok? And what's her name again? Yetunde. She's not on this call. Please, okay, so the thing is, I would think about it. Richard. Any other question? Okay, I will think positively. I would like to think that there's no questions, nothing. Right?
Yeah, no question from my end.
Okay.
All right then, guys. Since there's no question, well done, Tolani.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just move down to my workspace because
Okay, while he does that, so I would like to, okay, so let me just like summarize the entire thing. So the key advice for this entire thing is, I already said it before, some of you might just design for your portfolio. Don't be selfish. Design for users. It's very, one thing I noticed amongst aspiring designers is you guys like to impress with your visuals, thereby neglecting the functionality and actually creating a solution. So what you should prioritize is to create solutions that are intuitive, very useful, solving a problem, and also very inclusive. And also, before diving or even accepting a job from a client, you need to ensure that you're fully grounded in the entire design sphere. So you need to make sure that you've already mastered the fundamentals, like you know your way around Figma. You need to make sure that you understand design principles, concepts, the usability, and all those things. You need to make sure you understand all of that. Make sure you understand the fundamentals. And also, one thing that's always helped me in my design journey is I am always curious. Curiosity is very good. Is very good. So you being curious, you could maybe just randomly go through an article on UX, or you could just maybe someone who is like slightly above, who is above you in the entire design field. You'd be like, oh, can you help me go through this? Why? Because you want them to point out all the errors that there are within that your. If it means you have to start over again, that was how it was for me. Start over again at that time, and I'll do the entire design from scratch. So curiosity and your willingness to learn is going to really help you with this as a designer. And also, what else? So one thing is, don't beat yourself up if your design is not perfect. I remember the first design I did. My mentor told me that it looks like a 2004, a bit 2000, early 2000s kind of design. I almost cried. But then I had to have like this big brain, this big smile on my face. And I was like, oh, how can I actually fix this? What do you think is missing? I started all over, tried my best. I still didn't get it right, but consistency is what helped me. Like I was not scared of falling down just to rise again. Like it was a constant thing, like, oh, Tola, you just keep doing it, you're going to get it right and it's going to be better. So my point is your first designs are not meant to be perfect, and it's perfectly okay. Each time you take up a project, a personal project, let me reiterate that a personal project is so that you can get better at it. Every step you're taking is you having to master the entire process, the entire design process. That's the whole point of it. Nobody gets it just at one go. So the thing is, good design. One thing I like to live by is I'm trying to look for. Okay, so the thing is, good design is invisible, and just ensure that the impact you're giving your users is something that is going to be memorable and something that they can never forget. Everybody wants to use Instagram. Everybody wants to use TikTok. Obviously, a designer ensure that the process is seamless. Now, everybody wants to use all of those apps that I mentioned. So always have that. Let that be your priority. That's something that users will use and will not forget about it. Because there are some apps that we download and we don't use it again. So this is something that you should keep at the back of your mind, and also have it in mind that be patient and consistent. You don't get it. Rome was not built in one day. So growth takes time, and as long as you're constantly practicing and also work on personal projects, it's going to help build your skill and also your confidence level. So that's that. I would like to thank our guys at his workspace now.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. All right, well done. So I think maybe just to portray more on what you just said, in terms of designing, don't design for your portfolio. Like you said, design for users, and and I'll always say be curious. Using how we met him, Tolani, as an example. I literally met her because of curiosity. I think it was on LinkedIn, you slide in, right? And we started talking. And just speaking for the first time, the kind of questions and everything, I was like, oh wow. Or okay, I think this person is ready to grow, and this is where we are now. I mean, you just have to. But the girl can be stop for Africa. When she needs something, she really she will go for it until she gets it. I mean, and that's basically how all of us grow or grew. I'll use that word depending on your situation. Yeah. So I remember I had one white guy. I used to go on his DM, and the guy was very selfless. Every time he's coming. I didn't even know that I'll find myself in the abroad later. But I was really on that guy's neck. He knew that this guy, I was hungry. And I don't mean food hungry, like I was hungry to grow. And so every one of us, and you, the thing is, how far can you even go? How much can you even spend to grow? How much can you even spend to grow? It's not just about, there's no way you can grow with only free resources. Sometimes it will cost you something. It might cost you paying for a mentorship. It might cost you paying for class. It might cost you paying for advanced class. It might cost you paying in buying something. It might just cost you so many things. But you have to be ready for it, because it is growth. And I think one of my TD Jakes said value is determined by sacrifice. So how much can you sacrifice to what you value? So that's what will really help you at the end of it. And just have to be curious, bro. Guys, go online, check what people are doing, read what people are doing, check design, try to replicate designs. I always advise at the first, try to copy designs verbatim at the beginning, just copy it. The more you try to copy it, the more you learn, and before you know, creativity comes and you begin to steal like an artist. But at the beginning, you might not really know how to steal as an artist. But there are so many things that are not so new in design. You realize that what you feel that is a good concept, someone has done it like 10 years ago. And you're like, oh, I believe you can relate. You think this was a good idea, only for you to one day and you stumble. Oh, someone actually had done this in 10 years ago. So So you really need to be ready to grow in your career. And one of the way to grow is to be curious. All right, guys. So is it okay if you stop sharing your screen?
All right, sure, no problem.
All right, thank you. So that I can just like everything I wanted to take today, literally, you've handled it, and it's good that you've handled it because that's what I don't even need to do much on the project again. I don't need to walk you guys through on the project. Okay, so guys, I'll share my screen. Screen desktop 1 to desktop 2. Yeah, okay. I'm sure you can see my screen, guys. Okay. So ideally, before now, what we used to do was to put you guys in group, and say group 1, group 3, group this. We are not doing that again. What we are doing this time around is that we are going to give you guys a project, one project, right, for everybody. So not really one project, like in a group of 5 projects rather. Then you choose which of the projects you want to work on based on what Tolani has shown you guys to do today. Replicate that in that project and work on it. And I've made it a bit simple. Like now, let's say this is a particular project. We call it last miles. Sorry, last mile. I think let me last mile. Yeah, let's see, since it's mile. Yeah. So affordable delivery for remote communities. So we've given you the project overview, so you don't need to go stress yourself to look for overview. In many rural, this is the project overview. This is the problem statement. Sorry, I'm not going to take any time to talk you guys through on it. Chidima have done everything already on that. So if you just listen to the class, take your this and you will know what to do. This is the objective: design a user-centered delivery platform tailored to rural or low connectivity regions. That means these people don't really have so much of internet or so much of access to network and everything. That means you might want to consider like a PWA, progressive web app. Make research on that. You might want to consider this, where you can literally download them and store offline. But I mean, you don't need to do that, but you don't need to include that. A developer might want to consider that, but I'm just saying it's not for you. But I mean, for a developer, that means they have to be like a PWA, where you need to download it and use it offline, or a cache where you can install cache to it, so that they install it and you know that you don't have to load it every time on the internet. But for now, for a designer, you might not really look at that. I'm just saying based on what I've written here. Then ensure the solution is simple enough for low literacy users and accessible on low-end smartphone. I remember you in cinema spoke about you have to always be your design has to be accessible. So make sure that your choice of font, your choice of color suit the purpose of your project. At the same time, it's accessible enough. Then it should build trust between customers and local delivery providers. We have support offline and low. I think we already sorted that on the other one. Support local language. Let me remove offline. Support local language options. Support, yeah. So our target audience, we have one, senders. That's small business owners, farmers, students. Go through it. Riders and optional community agents. You can check them out. I've tried as much as I went all out to make sure I give you core features, what you should expect. More like create a delivery request, what, from where to where, you know that one. Match with available local transporters. That means someone will come in and create available request. I need this and this and this, and there are people available. Just like when you order Bolt, you know, right? That's almost how it works. So you request where you want to go and you see available. I think when I came to Nigeria, like, there's this particular platform I saw. where you can negotiate price. What is it called? Is it InDrive, right? Is it InRide or InDrive? One of those things.
InDrive.
InDrive. That was amazing. Like that was because I was using Uber all through, only for me to someone told me I was able to negotiate price. I was like, this is nice. So that can also work. You can consider that. I'm just giving you a tip. You can consider that. Yeah, then design consideration, mobile first, usable in low data environment. You guys, I'll remove this so it will not confuse you. Voice command, icon-based flow, or low literacy users. You just have to consider it. I mean, it's a consideration. Whenever I say you should consider things, doesn't mean that you should everything has to be included in consideration. You might want to consider that because of the brief. Then simple onboarding for writers and sender. This has to be profound, very important. It has to be simple enough. Then your UX design process, like Chidima showed you based on the case study. So UX design process, empathy and research, you define, you ideate, then you do your wireframe, you do your prototype, you test. So that is basically what you need to do. If you have followed the lesson, then you understand what to do. I've given you a guide on everything you need to do. So you don't need to be I've really helped you guys this time around, like giving you what you should expect. Then your final delivery, at the end of it, this is what you are going to present. Your research summary, like in Chidima did, where you have your personal user journey map, empathy map. Just I can't include everything. Empathy map, your job to be done, what user story. So job to be done is like, Chidima spoke about make comparison with personas and user stories. So user story literally is like what the user says. Um this is like, I'm just speaking, it's like I'm trying to use this word, a layman. I'm trying to speak out loud. So in my mind, this is what I have in my mind. This is the frustration I have in my mind. So anytime when I want, this is a solution I have in my mind also. When I want to use this, I just want to be able to do this, and I'm tired of all these things. Someone is just ranting. So you are trying to pick their mind based on their rant. Then job to be done is that when a user come on your website, what is that job they want to do? So I can say, as a user, when I want to purchase food in Lagos, I want to see available vendors. That is jobs to be done. So you must consider your jobs to be done. Maybe I should even write it well, because not none of you may know the job to be done. So it's like you build jobs to be done from your user story. So you build your jobs to be done from your user story. So when you've already picked up their rants, you can now make up and bring a solution from there. So your wireframe as well, interactive high fidelity prototype. I told you guys on prototype where we did advanced variables and prototyping. That will really come handy when you are presenting. Then your final presentation was like the case study, what Chidima presented today. I have a couple of case studies. She might also want to share with her own if she would want to. You can ask her if she is available, happy to do that. Yeah. Or you go and check online and check what other people have done. So expected screens. I try as much as possible to give you guys some expected screens, what we are expecting from you guys. So sender user flow, onboarding, language section, that sign up, home screen, create delivery request screen, deliveries in summary, in rider match. I mean, if you take your time and look at it, you'll be able to know what to do. I can't start explaining all this based on what she have done, because she has really helped me solve the problem of having to explain everything. Then what else? Rider, this is for rider section. We have for sender and rider. Then we have common screen. Some people call it other screen, some people call it miscellaneous, where it's more like it can be on all the, it should be on all the either whether you're a rider or a sender, like notification, support, settings and preference, those ones here can come in. Then we have another project which is Captains 2, talking about Edu Bridge, learning access for rural youth. Yeah, so bridging the language learning gap in rural Africa. If you go, I'll share this document on the group as I'm talking. I mean, I cannot start explaining everything right now. You have your core value, design constraints, and consideration, what you should consider, the UX process, the same thing. I already make sure that I write UX process for all the stages that will help you. Then your final delivery, what I would recommend that you should use. Not all of you have access to MES because of the subscription. Let me remove that. Yeah. Then possible screens. I've sent you two possible screens. So what you are going to do is that I will send this to every one of you on the group. All you need to do is to look at the project and see which one you will be happy to do. Because I don't want to choose project for anybody now. This time around, there's no grouping. You choose project that you want to do. Then like this one, this is so close to what Chidima was walking you guys through. Ciao now. Yeah, and by the way, don't pick this name. These names are unique to me. I'm using that word by the way. I'm just thinking of names and I came up with something. Yeah. So you can just look at, there's no color guide, there's no brand guide, there's no style. You are the one to create those things yourself in this context. This is a food delivery, so you can read through the brief, check which one you like and which one makes sense. Then once you've gotten what you want, you can now choose which of the projects you want to work on and let us know, because we are going to be having meeting. We are going to be having meeting at least once in a month, once in a week, and you guys have 3 weeks to deliver this. So we have our first meeting maybe on Friday. But by then you must have started your work. You are not waiting, because if you watch this video, you know what to do. If you be attending all the classes, you should know what to do. You need to start somewhere. So delivery, what else? I think we have another option. This is another one. Connecting informal workers to local job. This is like a job site. Joakazi. I don't know what the meaning of it. I just wrote name. It doesn't have to mean anything. You get, that's not the main thing. The major thing that you can solve the problem. Saying what do you want? I'm coming. Sorry. He's trying to drag me out. All right, sorry about that, guys. Where did we stop? Empowering informal workers with access to local job opportunities. So, like I wrote, in many African communities, millions of people work in informal sectors, from plumbers, tailors, carpenters, da, 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 da. So you can just read through and you know what the project goal is and the statement and everything. Take notes, you will need this statement on your final design. So I've already helped you guys solve that, some like 20% of the, in fact 30% of the brief. I've done it for you guys already. So you just have to do your real research. Thank God for AI. AI can also help you, but do your real research, do proper research, and you will get it. I mean, you really know, you know what to do if you be attending classes. That I can assure you. Your research, Google form, surveys, ask people questions, look for groups, ask questions. Remember to always sketch. Remember to always have your sketch. I'm just trying to see what I need to do. What else? What else? What else? I've given you suggested screens here on that project. Right. Yep. Then what else? Sport link. This is more like discover, join, or organize local sport communities. I know some people might want to do something regarding sport. I mean, whatever resonates with you, and whatever project you'll be happy to do, guys, go ahead and do it. Yeah. So you can just go through it. Some projects would look simpler than others, some would look straightforward, but ideally there's no simple project. As far as you put human in, you put users in consideration. There's no simple project. All projects are complex, and at the same time, all projects are big. There's no small project because users are not small. That's what one of my friend normally say, that you cannot say it's a very simple project. It's a small project. Don't ever think that way as a UI UX designer, because it will make you neglect so many things. Oh, that small project. It cannot be a small project as far as users are concerned. So just put that into consideration. Look at everything I've listed out for you. Then always remember, like Chidima said, I think I heard her said, remember to create a reusable component like button, menu, card, and card if you want to do card. I mean, make sure that you create some reusable components. Style guide. I remember she mentioned style guides, right? Did I hear that? Well, I think you did, yeah. Guides, and you make sure you print your style guide, more like your color, your typography, grid. Make sure that so that you can stay consistent. One of the last set, I realized that a group, the group was using one group will use a particular group, three of them use different frame size on three different designs, because they were no one actually has they did not create color. They created they did not create color component. They created I mean they did not create so many things. Buttons were not the same, the menus were not the same, and that was so bad. They had to go and rework on it again. It took them more like longer time than it would have, because this one was like, no, my design was better. This one was, no, my design is better. And we're like, okay, if you guys would have avoided this if you had actually had created something before you start designing. So please create a color typography and grid. Make sure that you create a style with that variable with that. If you want to use variable, do that, please, guys. You need to do it. Very important. And I'm comfortably say we've taught you guys that, because I personally have done that. So I'm not scared of what you guys can do. I just want to see how the outcome would be. And like Chidima says, strive as much as possible to do an excellent job, but know that your face design might not be the best. However, strive as much as possible to do an excellent job. But come on, your face design would not be the best. We are not going to judge you based on how beautiful or how slick your design is. We are going to judge you on your process. We want to see your process. We are more concerned with your process than your how good looking, how the good UI, the good interface would be. So that's not what we are really much concerned. But we want you to do a good interface. However, that's not the major thing. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So where are we? Are we okay? So guys, any question? Any question?
You said something about meeting once a week. That's 3 times, I think.
Yeah, and that is just for the next 3 weeks. We meet once I think it will be on Fridays to review your
Mhm.
project, or we can always communicate with you guys within the week, depending on my schedule. I think my Fridays might be a bit free these days because I'm taking off a course, so I've taken off from work on most Fridays now because of that as well. So I think my Fridays will be very free this period, the next 2-3 months. I was telling you guys, we need to spend, even at our level, we still spend more to learn. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I don't want to record this.